All right, welcome to another edition of the Cut Pro Wrestling Podcast. My name is Randy Zelio with Back Sports Page.
And I'm Memorito Rivera with Level 1 Games in Pompton Plains, New Jersey. How are you, Mr. Randolph?
Listen, my friend, it is an absolute pleasure and honor to be sitting next to you yet again for this. This is a very fun episode. I know you were looking forward to it. I was very surprised with this episode on how fun it was to talk to Mr. Rory Fox.
Listen, I've been asking to get Rory Fox on this show for what, a month, 2 months, 3 months?
It was about somewhere around that 1 to 2 month. I get a month leverage there. You know what I mean? Like a month.
Listen,
yeah.
The dude is great, man. He reminds me of me because of the anger issues, and I knew
that's
that
not something to be proud of.
Well, it's like kindred spirits, man. Like I'm angry, he's angry, so I dig that. That was definitely somebody I wanted to get on this show and tell his story. We didn't even scratch the surface, and we got a loaded show for you, man. The dude has a lot of stories, and there's a lot to tell. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope that we can have him on sometime down the line so he can finish telling us a lot of these stories, man, because he has plenty. We stood on the video chat with him after the show, and he was just regaling us with these tales that the whole time I'm like, we should have just kept the record button on.
Yeah, I know. We would have been here. I think we started that one like at 8:30 at night. We would have been here until like 2:00 in the morning. That's how long that one could have gone. But listen, he's a great guy. Rory's a great guy. And listen, you don't want to keep listening to us. Keep listening to us ramble on. Right now, here's Rory Fox with M&I.
Welcome to the Pro Wrestling Podcast. We are here today with one of my special guests. I've been pushing for this guy to be on the show. Randy, have I not?
You've been.
And
you've been.
I have been pushing. And today we have Rapid Delivery, Rory Fox. How the hell are you, Rory?
Hey, I am doing great.
Iowa's finest, ladies and gentlemen. Iowa's finest. That's the best way to.
That's right. Iowa's favorite son.
You know what?
Yes,
exactly. You. I wanted to tell you a story
before Seth Rollins. There was Rory Fox.
Yes. Yes.
There you go.
Yes. And I like you better than Seth Rollins,
you know what's
too. So,
you know what's funny, Rory? I wanted to tell you this.
I do too.
About a week or two ago, I'm pushing to get you on the show. I'm like, hey, we got to get Rory Fox. We got to get Rory Fox. And Randy's pushing for like the Undertaker and what was it, Steve Austin and Bret Hart. So he's talking to me about Bret Hart, and I'm like, yeah, Randy. How about Rory? Has he gotten back to us?
Hey, of reality TV, I am the Bret Hart, the Undertaker, and Steve Austin.
Exactly. You are one that we needed to get on here.
Yeah.
And I got to ask the question.
All three of those guys are awesome too, by the way. All awesome guys.
Well,
we'll get to them, but I wanted you first.
For the record, it's nice to hear like Undertaker, Bret Hart, Steve Austin, Rory Fox.
Yeah.
Right in that conversation right there, baby. So it's good. And I was listening to an interview earlier today, and we were talking about the MTV thing. And I have to ask you from a personal perspective, what was that sort of like for you? MTV is a lot of eyes. That's a lot of eyes.
Oh, absolutely.
So, especially at that age, you look back at it. Obviously, I don't have to ask. You look back at it now. What is the you of today looking back at that and saying, "Man, I wish I would have done something different at that point," or is it? Thank God I did that.
No, that's why we're still talking about me today. I'm so happy I got to do MTV and True Life. I want to be a pro wrestler. But I was doing what I was supposed to do at the time. I mean, who's going to say no to, okay, we're going to put you on the special now. The other dude's a crackhead. So guess what, kid from Watkins, Iowa, population 100, we're going to put you on MTV and you're going to have your first match in front of the world. Like, what am I going to do? Say, no, I'm so scared. Hey, the wrestling universe gave me that opportunity. So I tried to make the best of it. I mean, I don't like now when I look back at some of the comments on the show I was making. I mean, it sounded pretty stupid now and just paying my dues. And it's like, going to training isn't paying your dues. That's how you get better at wrestling and setting up the ring and all that stuff. But yeah.
So one of the things I'm going to take you back a little further than MTV. So prepare yourself for this deep dive.
Ooh.
But I wanted to talk to you about you growing up. You just said it. You grew up in a town, population, what, 100?
Yeah.
And what was that like growing up? What did you watch as a wrestling fan? Did you watch like WCW? Did you watch WWF? What was that? What inspired Rory Fox to finally get into the ring, to finally go and get training?
That's a funny story. Where I was at, there wasn't cable TV. Only maybe some of my rich neighbors in town, they had that big, gigantic satellite dish in their yard. Some of them had that, but no, before that, it's just, I had no access to professional wrestling until one day on Channel 7, that's our NBC affiliate. They said, coming to KWWL, the Junkyard Dog, Big John Studd, Hulk Hogan. I was like, what is this? I got to find out what this is about. So I tuned in to the very first, the premiere of WWF Wrestling Superstars Sunday night at 10:30. And I had to get up for school in the morning, but I didn't care. I wasn't going to miss this. And I hear the Thriller. It goes, da-na, da-na, and it's like, it's Hulk Hogan, this big, massive guy. He's doing the sign of the cross, and he's walking the ring, and you hear Thriller, da-na-na-na-na, and he's walking to the ring in Madison Square Garden. I didn't know this at the time, but this is where he wrestled the Iron Sheik and won the championship. And it just shows him walking to the ring, and it shows the ring and back and forth, all these flashes of just excitement. And I was like, oh my God. And then it goes, dun-dun-dun. And then welcome to Superstars Wrestling. You had Bruno, Vince McMahon, and Jesse the Body. And then, my God, I saw the British Bulldogs wrestle. I saw Dynamite Kid hit that snap suplex, that clothesline in the face that he would do to those enhancement guys. And then Davey Boy Smith would put the opponent up on his shoulders, and Dynamite would jump off the guy's back and hit that flying headbutt for the 1, 2, 3. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I was hooked after that.
So, dude, that's when the fire of pro wrestling took you over, right?
Yes.
And how old were you when that was?
Was it? How old? It'd been 84, 85. I would have been 10 years old.
Oh, sweet Jesus. That's such an impressionable age, man.
Yeah. And that was the thing. I'm 10 years old and I don't even know pro wrestling exists yet. See, we didn't have independent wrestling. There wasn't no little indies. I come to find out later on in life that Central States Wrestling out of Kansas City, Bob Geigel and Bulldog Brower, and they would run in Cedar Rapids at this little building there at Vets Coliseum there. I had no idea about it, but so yeah, that was my first access to pro wrestling, was WWF Superstars of Wrestling. And then, oh my God, when I found out about Saturday night's main event, forget about it. That was just
so you were amazing. Just hooked.
Yeah.
See, and that's what I wanted to hear. Like, how is it that the wrestling just took you over, man? Because I'm a wrestling fan. You're a wrestling fan. We all know that feeling of watching it for the first time and just losing our marbles over it. So after you're 10 years old and you grow up watching, you're watching WWF. Mm-hmm. When is it that you finally go, you know what? I'm taking this leap. Let's do this. I'm ready to be a pro wrestler.
Yeah, that was a long time from that point, because I was such a skinny kid. And before I ever knew about pro wrestling, baseball was my life. Being from Watkins, Iowa, the next town over is Norway, and they're known throughout the world for their baseball. There was even a movie called The Final Season. It was based on our baseball team in Norway, Iowa. I was on the very last team in '91, so I was a part of that. And I just wanted to be Ryan Sandberg. In Iowa, we had the Chicago Cubs on Sundays on WGN. I grew up on Harry Carey, so I was just a fan of pro wrestling. I was all about baseball, playing second base, being Ryan Sandberg. But once I saw Hulk Hogan. But man, when Ultimate Warrior came around, that was my guy after that. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I got excited there. Yeah, Ultimate Warrior was my guy. I would chase my sisters around the house. I'd play the Ultimate Warrior's music and probably watched WrestleMania 6 like 1,000 times.
Yeah, but would you have to rent it on VHS as well? Like, that's how I saw it.
No. My dad had a buddy out in the farm that him and his friends, they would invite us out. And as a little kid, I got to watch those pay-per-views, and he would allow me to record it. And then I would take the videotape home and I'd watch it over and over and over, just like Saturday night's main events. I was watching that for the next week every day, after that.
So you were a student of the game even back then, man. Because I'm sure you were watching how everything was done.
No, I was just a huge fan. No? I didn't understand. I wasn't even thinking of that. I did, but my go-to was whenever a kid at school would tell me pro wrestling's fake, I would put them in a figure 4 leg lock and make them cry. And then they're like, oh, okay. And my desk was full of Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine. And that was the thing. I didn't have cable TV, so I didn't know anything about the NWA. I had to look in Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and I'd see Ric Flair, Nick Bockwinkel, Rick Martel, the Road Warriors, like, oh my God. And I didn't even find out about the NWA until we'd go to Kmart on Saturdays after we picked my mom up from work, because we'd go to a video store too, and I'd get whatever Coliseum video I could get. And I was in Kmart 5:30, 6:05 Saturday nights, and I was in there watching TVs. And then I saw this little studio wrestling with all them flags up. Then I saw Ric Flair and the Road Warriors. Like, oh my God, there's more wrestling.
Yeah.
But back to your answer though. I got to be about 18 and 19. I was pursuing baseball. Yeah, that was still on my mind. Junior college baseball. I was still reading Pro Wrestling Illustrated and watching wrestling all the time, but I still had baseball on my mind. And I realized you're sitting the bench, buddy. It's not happening. So I kept lifting weights, and I was already at a factory because I was just working just to make some money. And then as I kept lifting weights, I was like, you know what? This factory will be here the rest of my life if I want to. I'm saving money for pro wrestling school. So I worked in this factory for about, a little over 2 years, saving money for pro wrestling school. I don't know where I'm going to go, but I'll regret this the rest of my life if I don't find out if I can do this. I don't want to be one of these armchair quarterbacks drinking beer and watching Monday Night Raw every week and then being 40 something or 50 now and be like, God damn, I wish I would have did that. I mean, if I would have just had the wife and 4 kids at home, I'd been so angry. So yeah, I saved money and I contacted different pro wrestling schools. No one would really answer the phone except for Les Thatcher. And he was a guy like my size, 5'8", 5'9", 200 pounds, wrestled on every territory. He was commentator in so many different territories, 20-something year career. So I was like, God, this guy's got to know wrestling. He has to be very well at what he does to still be in the business. And Les was just such a charming guy and answered all my stupid questions about, do you know Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff and all that stupid shit. But yeah, he was a great guy. So what I did, I picked up everything at age 22, drove that 550 miles to Cincinnati, Ohio. And it's like, here we go. I've never left the state of Iowa, and now I'm in Cincinnati.
So wow. So it took you 12 years to really go, you know what? This is happening. I'm doing it. Let's get it done. So let me ask you a question. Before I turn it over to Randy, this will be my last question for a little bit. Mm-hmm. One thing, because I went to wrestling school back when I was 16, and I did it for a couple of years back. And I'm from New York, so it's a lot different here, and we don't have the personal trainer that you had with Les Thatcher.
We're at New York.
I live here in the Bronx, and I went to the wrestling school I went to was in Brooklyn. So it's not that close.
They allow guns in the ring. They allow guns in the ring.
Yeah, that was like before talking shop.
Who needs a foreign object? We'll just bring a gun.
Exactly. Death matches, baby. But you know what? One of the things that I will never forget was that first day I was there. I was inside a ring. The ropes were there, and I'm like, oh my God, like I can hit the ropes. I can jump off the ropes. No. You're going to sit there and you're going to bump until you hate life. Like, how was that for you? Like your first day at pro wrestling school, you left Cedar Rapids? No. Where were you from?
Cedar Rapids. I'm from Watkins, but pretty much Cedar Rapids, bigger city.
Yeah. So you left and here you are in Cincinnati. What was that like the first day?
Yeah, I thought too. I was going to get in the ring and hit the ropes and run. So like, no. You're not going near those ropes. You got to learn how to hit the mat first. You got to attack that mat. You got to hit the, you got to take those bumps. And wow, yeah, that you get a real reality check the first time you get, all right, just kick your feet out and fall backwards. Like, what? And then boom, I'm like, oh, wow, what just happened? You mean you guys do this all the time? Like, oh, and then you bounce your head off the mat a few times because it's just not connecting that you're supposed to tuck your chin. And and that was the thing, it was like a couple weeks before I was even like allowed to start hitting the ropes. It's like, you got to know how to bump first before you start hitting them ropes. And how about that shock when you start hitting those ropes? Oh, cool. I can run these ropes all day. And like, what? I felt like I just got bit in my back. What was that? You guys hit the ropes all the time? What the hell?
And that's what bruises. Yeah, we talked to Tasha Steeles not too long ago, and that's one of the things that we talked about was when you first hit the ropes, that first time you're like, oh, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to bounce. And then you have this big bruise in the back of your arms and your back.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I didn't expect this, man. I thought this stuff was fake. What happened with that?
Yeah, and I was trained old school where it's your hip and your side hits ropes. Now they all like to just completely turn their back into the ropes. And here's the thing. I understand everyone on TV just puts their back right in the ropes now, but guess what? If that rope breaks, you're going backwards on the top of your head. Now, I mean, it's more painful, but if your hip and your side hit the ropes and that top rope breaks, your arm is connected to the top rope. And that's how I was trained by Les Thatcher. Because we went to one of those live WWE shows, house shows, and Road Dogg hit the ropes and that top rope broke and he landed on his head. It's like, see, there you go. I told you.
That is so funny because not a lot of people realize that. There's just little things like that. You hook the rope when you hit it. Yeah. And just in case, because you never know.
Yeah. I know. And I understand even John Cena hits the ropes with his back. But if that rope breaks, you can't control that landing. You're going backwards.
Exactly.
Rory, I had a question for you about, you were talking about baseball before and you being in baseball. Can you talk about the difference of the camaraderie of being in a baseball clubhouse compared to a wrestling locker room?
Wow. Yeah. I mean, baseball, it's all just one team trying to win. Now, I mean, it's a total team concept. Pro wrestling it's shark infested waters. Like everyone wants to have a good match, but not everyone wants to lose. Everyone wants to win. Everyone wants to be the tough guy. It's a lot of talking. Yeah, a lot of talking behind your back. And why is he the champion, or why is he going over tonight, and why is he getting paid this? And I mean, it's just politics, way different. Yeah.
I just figure because the athlete mentality is, again, the athlete mentality after years of playing baseball, walking into that wrestling locker room must have been okay. Like, this is totally different. Also, we got to hear a little bit about you working behind the scenes and doing a little extra work for WWE back in that 99 time frame. Can you talk about the process? Just and we'll tell you again, I never stepped in the ring, but I'm one of those guys where I just loved it behind the scenes and how things work. First off, how did that process start for you? And what was that like? I heard the story that you had with Vince the first time we got to really meet Vince. And you're like, I'm Vince. And that whole,
that was one of the times. Yeah. But no, how it was when I was at HWA, it took me 8 months to even get my first match on a show. So Les was very intent on, this is my reputation. I'm not going to put you out there if I don't feel you're ready to get a look at by the WWE, because it's supposedly, your first impression is the most important one. Now, shorter guys, it is the first impression because you pretty much get one shot. If you're a big guy, you're allowed to make how many mistakes because you're a big guy. So Les would not vouch for me to ever get a WWF extra talent work. So what I had to do when I finally left HWA in 2001, I ran out of money and had to go back home, which, that sucked. But I was like, look, I'm back in Iowa now. We got Minnesota, Missouri, Wisconsin, Kansas. I'm nowhere near Ohio Valley Wrestling, where WWF would use OVW guys and maybe some HWA guys. So what I did as soon as I got home, I got out my resume, my VHS tape, and my 8x10 and shipped it off to Stamford, Connecticut. And about 2 weeks later, I got a call from Kevin Kelly. This is because Kevin Kelly was in charge of talent relations then, Kevin Kelly of Ring of Honor and New Japan and all that. Yeah. And he was also a Monday Night Raw announcer back then.
Yeah.
So Kevin Kelly said, "Hey, Rory, how you doing? We'd love to bring you in for a couple shots." So I got to do Minneapolis and Grand Forks, North Dakota. And I knew no one there. It was, oh my God, I was sitting at the table by myself, just sitting in catering. And I just knew, it's like, well, I can't sit back here in catering. So I'm going to put my boots on and my workout clothes and go down around ringside. And I saw Tony Gurria back then. He was an agent for years for WWF. Tony Gurria. He was also tag team champion with Tito Santana. And you saw him in enhancement matches in the mid to late 80s. But he was Tony Gurria had the marker. He was in charge of writing down who was getting the extra talent matches that night. So I saw Tony Gurria and I just started doing Hindu squats right out of the corner of his eye there, and he goes, "Hey, you don't mind getting beat up, do you?" I'm like, "No, sir, not at all." And boom, next thing you know, I'm wrestling Haku in front of 20,000 people for the syndicated program Metal or Jack Metal, depending on what part of the country you're at. Syndicated show they would tape right before they go live to Monday Night Raw. So 20,000 people in the Target Center in Minneapolis. And the dark match that night was Brock Lesnar and Shelton Benjamin against two locals with the Governor, Jesse the Body Ventura, in their corner.
Wow. That's crazy.
And it's funny because I just watched that match with Haku. And dude, it was pretty good. You got some offense in, considering you're the enhancement.
Yeah.
How was it working with?
Oh, he was amazing. But that was the thing back then. That was a syndicated program. This wasn't live cable TV where you get 2 minutes and they may say your name. It's like syndicated. Jacked and Metal was a syndicated show.
Yeah.
I
remember that.
Later on, they had what was it on Saturday nights on
Shotgun?
Later on before SmackDown, right? They tape it before SmackDown and be on Saturday nights on.
Was that Heat?
Velocity
was the showcase for a lot of independent guys. But before that, there was Metal, and a lot of us indie guys would get these 6 or 7 minute matches, and I got to hit Haku with a missile drop kick off the top rope in front of 20,000 people. I saw Haku in 1986 in the Five Seasons Center in Cedar Rapids as King Tonga. It's like, here I am, a 10-year-old kid. This kid out of this entire building one day is going to wrestle that guy in front of 20,000 people. He'd be like, no way.
Is he as tough as everyone says he is?
He's very tough. Just don't piss him off.
Yeah, right.
It was so amazing how kind he was to me. I mean, there was reversals, there was duck clotheslines, there was hits. I got to punch him a little bit in the corner. I mean, God damn! It's amazing now when I look back at it. Here I am, a 22-year-old kid, and I'm getting to actually give some offense to Haku. It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, he's the same guy in WCW in '94 at Clash of Champions that I saw no-sell the chair shot from Dusty, and he's standing there with his sunglasses on crooked, and it's like, are you kidding me? This little shithead in the crowd is going to wrestle Haku 5 years later from that time. It's like, and insane.
Like, tell me what went through your head, like as you're wrestling. What were you thinking? Like, what was the feeling there? It was like, holy crap! Like, was it mind blowing the fact that you saw him when you were younger? Well, were you guys just peers at that point?
I don't know if we were peers yet, but I was just listening to what he told me, and that was the thing. I'm not sure if you guys heard this story. When Haku and myself were going over the match, that's when Eddie Guerrero came walking in, pulling his luggage.
Yes, and I heard the story.
Eddie didn't look quite his normal self, and he went off in a room, and we didn't see him again. But Haku was like going over the match, okay, brother, and then you backdrop me, and then I read the next day Eddie Guerrero was fired. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, because this was what, like 91?
2001.
Right?
No, 2001.
I mean, yeah, stupid me. 2001. God,
this is after
amazing.
WCW's closed. And that was the thing. Yeah. I went broke and had to go back home to Iowa. Within 2 months, WWE chose HWA as a developmental territory.
No.
Yeah. And I'm sitting back home in Iowa following it on the internet. HWA is doing these bar shows on Thursday nights at the club me and the boys would go to every Thursday night. You got Tommy Dreamer, Raven, Steve Blackman, Crush. There was just all these WCW guys there because WWE bought WCW, and it's like, we got to do something with these guys. And I'm back home for a year saving money. It's like, oh my God, I got to go back. I got to be a part of this. And within 2 months, it was gone.
Yeah, because I remember it didn't last too long.
Yeah, it was about a year. And HWA was going down to Louisville. Like some of these guys, like he's the Butcher now. The Butcher and the Blade the Blade. The Butcher and the Blade, they're in AEW now. But the Blade was Pepper Parks in Cincinnati back then. They were called the A Squad with Chet the Jet. And it's like they're at the school doing these shows. Developmental guys are getting paid to travel from Cincinnati to Louisville. And guys like the Blade, it's like they're not getting paid to go do HWA TV way out in Louisville, a 2-hour drive. They got so many wrestlers, so they're doing all these 6-man tags. It's like the Blade's going down there to be in a 6-man tag. It's like wind the arm a couple times, tag out. And it's like, that's all he got to do. And he had to be there all day. And it's like, God, this is bullshit.
That's insane, dude. And this was after the MTV thing, right?
Oh, way after. Yeah. This was the MTV thing aired in 99, and this was in 2001 to 2002. They had the developmental there. I got back there in 2002.
And that's what was that when the unfortunate incident happened with Matt Cardona that resulted.
Oh, that's way later.
That's way later. That's right, because that's ECW.
That's 2009. Yeah.
Damn, I'm jumping around.
There's so much more.
Yeah, tell me more.
But no, when I got back to HWA, Mike Sanders, remember him in that group? Where were they called?
Natural Born Thrillers.
Yeah. At that point, Mike Sanders was the booker, and Shannon Moore was still there. It's like, okay, Rory, we're going to put you with Shannon Moore. You guys are going to have a cool program. We're going to do this for a couple months. And the next week, Shannon Moore got called up to the cruiserweight division. I was like, oh, great.
I have to ask too, being around WWE at that time, the fan in you seeing Undertaker and Steve Austin and just seeing those types of guys, was that little thing in you saying, oh my God, Brett, all those types of guys, Undertaker and guys you sort of grew up watching.
It was just into my mind though by Les. Don't be a mark. You better not ask for no fucking autographs and da. So I could contain it at WWF because it's like, oh my God, if you asked for an autograph nobody was doing selfies yet then because you would have had to actually bring a camera. But I knew if I would ask, I would never get to go back. They'd be like, get this guy out of here.
Yeah.
But yeah, one time I saw Undertaker. I think I said, Taker, how are you doing? I'm for some reason, I don't know. I might have said Mark. It's like, you don't call him Mark, it's Taker. Yeah. But he's like, I'm good. How are you, kid? Or one time I run into Steve Austin. There was this little ass. Okay. I was actually doing TV there when there was still one locker room, not this extra talent locker room in some broom closet. And I thought I was going into the right locker room, and I come face to face with Steve Austin. Like, hey, Steve, how are you? And he's like, pretty good, can't complain. It's like the guy's neck is totally screwed up. But he's like, oh, pretty good, can't complain. And I go in the room. There's Mick Foley reading his book, and then I see JR's black hat. I'm like, oh, this isn't the right room, is it, Mick? It's like, no, it's not, kid. So I found the locker room, and I never get to tell this story. At that Target Center, the night I wrestled Haku, it was like, okay, hurry up and go get dressed. And I go in the dressing room. I'm in the WB locker room here. 1, 2, 3, or X-Pac and Chris Jericho are going over their match over there, and it's like I kind of want to listen to them. Like, okay, I want to see how these guys put a match together, but you can't just stand there and go like this. So like, okay, I better get my boots on. Every seat is filled. There's Big Show, there's Bob Holly, the Acolytes. And Bob Holly got up, and I just go, excuse me, Bob, could I sit in that seat just to get my boots on very quickly? Yeah, kid, don't worry about it. And then I'm lacing my boots up, Big Show was right over here. And then Bob Holly comes back. He's kind of pacing, but he already told me I could sit in the seat, don't worry about it. Get dressed. Big Show embarrassed me in front of all the boys.
No,
Bob, you're a veteran. Would you like my chair? And then I was like, stop what I'm doing. And I was like, ugh, and then like went over to a corner and just kind of finished lacing my boots and got the hell out of there.
Oh, man.
And that night too, I found out why they called the Big Show, because later on he was sitting in the chair naked and that thing was hanging down to the floor.
And that's something I wanted to bring up eventually was the fact that
that's what you want to bring up. I
had to bring it up, man, because you were on Talking Shopamania, and that's all you hear is cock talk. So, and you got to hang out with Virgil there, and what they call him, the horse.
Did you see my Instagram post? Like, hopefully most people got it. It's me with Virgil, and I put real recognizes real.
Yes. Yeah, because they have you on Talking Shopamania, and they cannot stop talking about
Gallows. Gallows just loves it. It's like, shit. Now I barely have a huge cock now.
Yeah. He's like, oh my God, it's so veiny, and he's just like really going to town.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, that's why it's like.
Yeah, it gave me a new life.
Yeah, man. Because what was that like? What was that, like a weekend or like a day or two to shoot all that?
Yeah, it was like
that was the first one, the second one.
Both.
Tell me a little bit.
Both of them. The first one was in Gallows' backyard, and in Atlanta, Georgia, during the COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Of all times.
And no crowds, just in Gallows' backyard, and a lot of the boys destroyed his downstairs, like you said on his podcast. And there's
he says it constantly.
Yeah. He said it with us when we had him on with us. He was like, well, the one thing I wasn't expecting was to have to pretty much remodel my home when everybody left. But man,
that was a hell of a party at that first. The Talking Shopamania 1. I was outside by the pool till about 5 a.m. with John Schuyler and Alex Kozloff drinking White Claws. That was the thing too. We had unlimited drinks there. Well, that's what I thought anyway. I didn't know. I didn't know. Maybe I was drinking other people's drinks, but there was nowhere to sleep. All the beds were full. So I eventually went in the workout room and I just passed out on the treadmill.
Yeah, he said that when we interviewed him. He's like, Rory Fox slept on my treadmill. Now I got to pay for his hotel.
Yeah, the second time was great. When I went back for 2, I had the flight, the hotel room was great. But man, the first one was such a party.
So how did it differ from the second?
Yeah, what was the difference?
Oh, the second one was so much more organized, and they're just it wasn't.
He had learned his lesson.
It's like the second time I wasn't up in Gallows' kitchen with Scott D'Amore and D'Lo and all that stuff. Pretty much now it was like you have to have permission to go inside and all this stuff. It was like, come on, Anderson, I've known you since 2001. What am I sitting out here on the steps? And then I was kind of just pissed off about it. I'm like, Gallows finally like, Rory, come on inside. I'm like, No, it says I'm supposed to be outside. And it's like I was all butthurt. That is like the first show I stayed out in his house and drank all night. Second show, like, no, am I being summoned to go inside now? Okay. But I don't want to, but yeah, it's stupid. But
that was
first one was just a train wreck. Oh my God.
Compared to Animal House, I heard, right?
Yeah. And it was so great. It's like I ran into Ricky Morton again. I had a match with him 3 years ago in Des Moines, Iowa for 3X Wrestling. And we did maybe 3 moves in 15 minutes. And that was great. That's one thing too. The legends, if you take care of them in the match and they don't get hurt with you and you get a loud reaction, they'll remember you. And I saw the Powers of Pain there. Or it was Powers of Pain were at the second one. The first one was Haku and Barbarian, and I've wrestled both those guys. Barbarian, oh Rory, come here, brother. You know, he's like a giant Elmo. He's such a wonderful guy.
Giant Elmo.
I love Barbarian. Barb, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing good, Rory. So nice to see you again. It's like crazy.
I'm telling you, it's awesome, man. And that I'm sorry, Randy, but I had to bring this up, man, because this is one of the longest rivalries.
Yeah.
It's you and Matt Cardona, man.
Yep.
Like we have to, it's the elephant in the room. It has to be addressed. So might as well get it out of the way now. What did he do to you to cause so much animosity for what? How long has it been? 11 years?
It's 11 years now.
12?
Yeah. No, it's 11.
11 years. Yep. And you finally got your payback. I saw in 2019. I want to get that. But the listeners need to know, what did he do to you that you had to get him back finally?
That was the thing. We had a match. Okay, it was ECW, the WWE ECW. It was in Rockford, Illinois. Yeah. I was back living in Iowa. I spent 3 years in Texas, and I got in touch with the office, and I was like, Matt Cardona was the talent relations then, and now he's way up the ladder. I could call him on the phone and get booked. He's like, okay, yeah, no problem, Rory, come to Rockford, Illinois. Like, awesome. I get to Rockford. I find out Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona watched MTV's True Life. He's like, "Oh, Rory, how you doing, man? This is so great. I'm so happy I get to have a match with you on here, man. I love the MTV and the rapid delivery gimmick." Like, great, man. Let's go do our thing tonight. And this is Matt Cardona's second or third match on ECW TV. So he's got to get his gimmick over. You know, I'm the enhancement guy. I'm there. By the way, this was way different from the Haku match. Haku match, I got to punch, I got to strike. Haku hit him with a missile drop kick. Matt Cardona on ECW TV, I was allowed a roll up for maybe a half a 1 count and a couple forearms. And that's all I got in the damn match. But, you know, I've been wrestling 10 years at that point. Like, oh, okay, I guess I'm just a piece of shit here. I just get in a couple strikes. And we're out there having our match. Yeah, it's like, okay, go behind me on the slam and roll me up. I thought, okay, cool. I'd maybe get at least a 1 or a 2 count, not even a 1. And then he kicks me so hard in the head. And he starts laying some, but that's the thing too. If it's TV and you're wrestling enhancement guys, you lay it in. I get all that, but I don't necessarily like those kicks to the head. So I thought he's taking liberties a little bit there, but you know, maybe he was nervous. But then the spot we had talked about, okay, the Tully Blanchard thing where you beg off and you yank the trunks and your face hits the second buckle. Mm-hmm. Well, you know, I'm supposed to give him some forearms to drive him towards the corner. But because, you know, he didn't want to have any heat with the office, like, oh my God, you're selling too much for the extra talent. I gave him 2 forearms. He barely budged. We're almost in the middle of the ring. And he goes to pull my trunks there. Like, how is this spot going to work? So to make up for the distance, he yanked as hard as he could and took a damn flat back bump. And yeah, my trunks went up as I was hitting the buckle. Like a flap, you know, and I can't help it. The woman that designed my trunks, she put the seam at the bottom instead of just the sides. So yeah, it ripped up, and Matt Cardona said, "Oh, I'm so unprofessional because I didn't have underwear on underneath." Guess what? I was wrestling for 10 years at that point, and I never had under trunks because my gear always worked and always wrestled professional people that know how to make it look like you're pulling on the trunks. It's not a shoot. You don't pull on the trunks as hard as you can. It's like he pulled so hard. I thought it was a rib. Maybe JBL said, "Oh, hey, rib this hayseed from Iowa, pulling his trunks, the pants him, whatever, And he said, "No, bro, it's just your trunks or shit." And I got to the back. Well, I guess before that, I'm trying to cover up in the corner as he's punching on me, and he did his broski boot in the corner, and he's dragging me out to the middle of the ring, and I'm covering my balls at the same time. And then he still had to hit that spinning neck breaker gimmick while I'm covering my balls. 1, 2, 3, and a referee threw a towel out there quickly. And I'm just terrified. I'm like, they're not going to be able to use this footage. I'm never going to be able to come back here again. But they still had an hour before it actually aired on Sci-Fi Network. So I got to the back, and it's like, in my mind, it seemed like there was no one back there. There was probably still people at grill position. I'm not sure if it was Vince or whoever, but it was just going, just silence. And then I walked to the back there, and Hurricane kind of made a comment, and Matt Hardy and all them. They were, I don't know what it had been at the time. I don't think, was it maybe Twitter or was it MySpace? But they all
probably
MySpace. Like Hurricane said, "Yeah, Rory really went balls out tonight." Anyway, they made all these jokes.
Oh, man.
I mean, it made such an impact on Chris Jericho that it's in his second book. He talks about it, that Rory Fox, Rapid Delivery. If I was him, I just would have got out of the ring and ran to the back. I'm like, I got to finish the match. Randy Orton respected that too, that I finished the match. It's like, it's one of the most embarrassing moments ever, but at least the kid finished his match. So I got those props, but it's also the most humiliating thing ever.
And you went through a little depression because of that, right?
Absolutely. And I wish I would have known then what I know now. I would have said to Vince, like, "Okay, how about my gimmick? I have a wardrobe malfunction every week."
Yeah.
And I didn't know. I was just so devastated.
He would have went, "Damn it, I love it."
Yeah. That's good shit, pal.
Exactly.
Good shit. Yeah.
Yeah, good shit.
Yeah. After that, no one like laughed in my face. It was all behind my back. I didn't know. Carl Anderson told me, around Christmas time, whatever, there was they aired videos in the catering room, and one of the biggest blunders they ever showed was me. Like, and they have audio of like me in the corner going, "Oh my God." And everyone just had a great laugh at it. No one thought like, "Oh yeah, it's great." We're all laughing at Rory. Didn't like, "Hey, let's bring him back for a wardrobe malfunction gimmicks." Like, no, because no one helps each other out like that. It's like, I would have had to pitch that. I should have known that, but I didn't. But yeah, the depression thing. I pretty much knew it was over there. It's like, I could never get a job with WWE now. It's like, that's all they're going to remember. So I wrestled in 3XW in Des Moines for about another year. I just didn't care anymore. It's like, at that point in my life, it's like, I don't want to wrestle just to wrestle. I want a WWE contract. And, now I wrestle to wrestle, and I'm getting these other little benefits now. But then it's just like, if I can't get a WWE job, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to wrestle in Des Moines in front of these smart ass fans that make all these comments. And it's like, this is no fun. I'm done. And 2014, it's like, I was 3XW champion. My last night, I'm like, "Hey, this is it." I dropped the title, and I thought I was done. It's like, I cut my hair off. I had the nice, long, flowing hair. Cut the hair off. Yeah.
So, dude, you stay away for 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And during that time, you continue to watch, you continue to be a fan. And that must have been difficult as well, because it's difficult for people that have actually been in the ring, especially in front of so many people. Yeah. And you continue to watch. What brings you back? What pulls you back into this lifestyle?
And that was the thing. At that point, I finally got a good job. It's like, I'm tired of being the broke ass wrestler. because it's not going anywhere. But I was fine just watching it on Monday nights. But every now and then I'd meet up with my buddy in Des Moines and we'd go drinking and go to the strip clubs and all that stuff. And I would watch the live wrestling and I would see that crowd interaction. And I'm like, damn it, I missed the performance. It's like, I want that spotlight again. It was actually, I saw Adam Pearce against Jeremy Wyatt. They were wrestling for, Adam Pearce was coming through town defending the NWA title at the time. And they did the Dusty finish that night and it looked like Jeremy Wyatt, our local guy, won the title. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to come back. And my gimmick was, it's like, I don't want to ever be Rory Fox again. I want to be Russian Assassin #3. And I want a full Nelson camel clutch submission. I just wanted to be a Russian guy. It's like, I don't want to be Rory ever again. That didn't happen, but eventually I just came back. It's like after 4 years. And I'm not one of them guys. I didn't leave the boots in the ring and then come back a year later. I just I dropped the title. There's a new faction at 3XW. I got beat down and I just walked off to the side while they started some new hot angle and I disappeared. Everyone now leaves them. Oh my God. Can I swear or not?
Yeah. Yes, please. I need you to be you.
Every one of these indie wrestlers leave their motherfucking boots in the ring like they're done. And then they're back in a year. I can't stand that. Oh,
exactly.
Motherfucker, just disappear. Otherwise, if you're done, give your boots to someone or sell them. You're not done until you get rid of your boots.
Exactly. I love it. This is Rory Fox right there. God damn.
Yeah. And there's local guys in the Midwest that do that. They do it every couple of years. You'll never see me again. And then they wrestle just under a different gimmick and then another gimmick and they leave their boots in the ring like they're done and no one buys it anymore. It's like, oh, fuck you. You'll be back in a year.
Exactly. I think as a fan, we all know it. It's like, all right, well, we'll see you next Tuesday, man.
I was at one show. Watching in the background there and I saw a guy leave his boots in the ring and one of my buddies, my drinking buddy that I was going to hang out with after the show, the ceremony's going on and he just waves his arms. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? That's so disrespectful. He's like, he won't be gone long. And it wasn't even a year. It's like, God.
I'm telling you, when wrestling gets into you, it's hard to give it up, man. The only reason I never went back is because I've totally destroyed my back I worked at a hotel and I was picking up luggage and that was it. Slip discs.
Yeah.
I'll never do it again. But thankfully, this
mm-hmm. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I want to hear what you.
Yeah. See, no one retires. They just don't get booked anymore.
Don't do it.
The only time they really retire is when their body tells them you're done.
Yeah. And trust me, after 2 surgeries on my spine, I think I'm done. I could talk a lot about wrestling. Yeah. I can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and you're retired. Yeah.
Exactly. One of the things I wanted to tell people, because it is a little depressing that this part of the story, but I want to hear more about your triumphant return and the revenge that you got on Matt Cardona, because it happens. Tell me a little bit about that. You took his title, right?
Yeah, in my mind.
Yeah, I want to hear about that.
But no, I'm just doing my local shows, minding my own business. Just, you know what? I'm just doing it for the love now. It's like, I'm not losing money, but I'm not getting rich. It's like, I have my 9-to-5 job, but the weekends I want to get in the car and I want to go. And that's what I was doing. But then, what do you think? That 10th anniversary, it just all started up again. No, the 5 year, it was just a little something, but that 10-year.
Yeah, you
sorry.
Pissed.
Yeah, sorry, bro. And then a picture of me with my ass hanging in the ring. And leading up to that, Chris Jericho was already kind of obsessed with that. It was in his book.
Yeah.
And they're on Talk is Jericho. Zach Ryder, Matt Cardona is on Talk is Jericho. And they go on for about 5 minutes about Rory Fox, this guy, he's what's his deal, man? Yeah, and Cardona's like, yeah, bro, his mom, I think, made his trunks. They just turned into dust. It was so unprofessional. And he's mad at me that he accused me of pulling on the trunks hard. It's like, bro, your trunks were dust. I'm like, no, bro, you were unprofessional. And what's leading up to the big showdown in Chicago, as soon as he blasted me, and also Jericho was laughing, they're just laughing at my expense. And that anger, that rage was coming back again. For this being a fake business, or supposedly fake, this was all very real to me. Oh. And I messaged Chris Jericho, and this is when he's on tour with Fozzy. They're coming to Des Moines, my stomping ground. And I messaged him. I said, Chris, may I tell my side of the story? And he's like, absolutely, brother. Message me as we get closer to the date. So the date came. I'm being interviewed by one of my idols, Chris Jericho, on his tour bus for Talk is Jericho.
Jesus.
And I got to tell my side of the story, and Jericho listened to it all, and I made some good, valid points. And he's like, sorry. And then Jericho plugged my upcoming local indie dates. It was amazing. He even took a selfie with me in the bar because I wanted the perfect picture. And we're just still going back and forth on Twitter every now and then. And then that 10th anniversary came up. Oh. And what was it? I got a text from I got a message from Cardona. Are you available Thanksgiving weekend? He's like, if you get a booking, take the booking. I'm thinking, are you kidding me? I'm on the Indies. I'm going to this show in Chicago. I show up there, Dolph Ziggler, Raven. I'm like, Swoggle. It's like, all these guys, like, shit. And all the White Claw I could drink. And yeah, and they decide we're gonna have this cool little. John Cone was there too. It was great, and which I actually got bookings out of that because of that interaction that night.
Oh wow!
And yeah, so we're like, okay, Rory, we're gonna do this fun little skit. You're gonna come out angry, and you're gonna hit me with the belt. And, John Cone's gonna count to 3. I'm like, wow. I was like, I just thought, like, God damn. And I get out there. I have you seen 16 Candles?
Yeah.
Did you ever see that movie 16 Candles, where the dude comes out of the bathroom with the panties? Or anyway, it's a long time ago. I know, 84. But anyway, I come out in complete rage. It's like, to me, this is real. It's like, we talk backstage. Everybody's cool. Thanks for coming, brother. I come out there. I'm like, do these look familiar, you son of a bitch? And I'm going wild, man. Rory, man, I just want to, I'm sorry it happened all those years ago. I want to hear in front of everyone, let you know I'm sorry, and I want peace. Just like it was like Bret Hart and Shawn. I offer a sign of peace. Like, okay, yeah, buddy, thank you. And the crowd's like, oh, this is awesome. And I go over to shake Hawkins' hand, Myers' hand, and Myers like, man, Rory, thank you for coming. I was a big fan of True Life. And then boom, the big swerve. Whoop. Sorry, I got excited again.
No, it's
gotta
cool.
use these headphones to get the good sound. Give him the low blow. And, oh my God, the crowd started going wild. I was like, shit, we are back on. And I gave him the low blow to pants him because like he's supposed to embarrass him like he embarrassed me.
Uh-huh.
And belt shot city, boom. Like, ooh, a little stiff there, brother. Like, yeah. So were you when you ripped my trunks off in live television. And but it's just,
and it felt good.
The crowd, yeah. Oh, it felt so good. And I loved it. After that, they're making some reference to Rory Fox every week on the Major Wrestling Figure podcast. I was like, man, we got something here. So,
dude,
and Brian Myers even like, bringing Rory Fox into that, broski, that was a total wild card. We didn't know what to expect from Rory, and Myers was like, that felt pretty damn real. That rage that rage is real.
Yeah.
You know, it's
but that's
we're a show, but that anger is real.
But that sells it. Like,
And one of the things, exactly.
And
I'm
that's
sorry,
what wrestling.
Randy, go
That's
ahead.
what wrestling is missing. Damn it! I can't get the right angle now.
But that's
That's
but
okay.
That's,
No,
but I'm sorry, but that's what something that
Yeah.
Mick Foley always said. Mick Foley said when he was always doing his promos with The Rock and stuff like that, it always helped him when he's able to add truth and be able to find that little thing in there to make it real. And when you do that, like,
Yeah.
I think the example he said was the fact that he never apologized
over.
after when The Rock never
Yeah, there we go.
apologized. When The Rock never apologized for the chair shots, he said that The
Yeah.
Rock never came in afterwards. He said, I can use that later on to make it real.
Yeah.
So,
And that's what I do now. I can channel that anger. Like on the locals here, there's several wrestlers I do not like, but I can put it aside and have a match with them because I can channel that real hatred I have. And that's with Matt. We're doing something different that no one else in pro wrestling is right now. Like Brian Alvarez said, the 2021 feud of the year, potential feud of the year is Rory Fox versus Matt Cardona. It's like, can you imagine if COVID was over with? Last year, it was going to be Rory Fox, Matt Cardona tuxedo match in front of like 5,000 to 8,000 people down in Tampa.
damn.
You know?
That was supposed to take place during WrestleMania weekend, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was the thing. That's where I will give kudos to Matt. I messaged Matt. I said, hey, I want to be a part of your live show. I will get there. You know, so, you know, I might've got a payday, but the airfare was all on me. And he went to bat for me with John Cone and got me extra work. I would have did the live show, the Major Pod live show. Then it was SmackDown, NXT, WrestleMania, Raw, SmackDown, because I took the initiative to say, hey, I will, at my own cost, I will get to Florida and do what, a 5-minute skit, anything. I just want to be a part of the show. And Matt contacted John Cone, and I would have had all those bookings, and boom, like that, it was all gone. And now Matt's fired, so I'll never get all that WrestleMania extra work. I never did a WrestleMania.
Damn. But one of the things I thought was like really cool before, after you won the in 2019, you took the title away from him, was the photo shoot you did. It was like the Shawn Michaels.
Oh, thanks for reminding me about the title. I hit Cardona with the belt, and I just took off of the belt like Cone counted to 3. I'm like, I'm the Major Pod champion now. And he's like, why'd Rory take the belt with him? I didn't know where he left. I like went out the back door, like I left the building for the fans, and Matt was worried that I actually took the belt and took off. But I took advantage of that moment, and yeah, we did the Shawn Michaels pose. That was Dolph Ziggler's idea.
What?
Yeah. He goes, Rory, you got to get naked with the belt. Like, okay. and then Zombie Sailor, the toy guy, takes the photo where I'm posing as Shawn Michaels, and then Ziggler's right there too.
Oh my God.
And I took the initiative. Ziggler took the photo where I'm holding the belt on my shoulder with the finger. And that became the woo woo woo. This is this woo 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 kiss my ass special edition 8x10 that I've been selling now ever since. You know?
Dude, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Matt was such a mark. Like, oh,
Wow.
Rory took my title belt.
Wow. Rory, listen, you've been so generous with your time. Would you like to let everybody know where they can find you on social media?
Absolutely. On Twitter, Rory Fox _ on Instagram, Rory Fox 11. And I also have a Facebook page, ProWrestlingTees.com, Rory Fox 11. And also on Collar and Elbow, you can get that Roots of Fight feel style, rapid delivery Rory Fox, delivering the goods since 1999. It's a takeoff of a fan t-shirt that a fan made for me in 2001. I was like, let's make a shirt out of this. And I also have wrestling trading cards right now too. You can get the woo 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 kiss my ass with the Major Pod title picture, and then you got my traditional wrestling pose. You get those as well. Just message me on Twitter.
And
I also have 8x10s.
Yeah, where can we find that shirt you're wearing right now?
This is on ProWrestlingTees.com.
All right.
That is awesome,
well,
guys.
we
Go
usually-
out.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Go
It's
out
a
and
it's a
get
black
one.
and silver. It's a black and silver. I just knew I had to have this color, but the logo is kind of Van Halen inspired,
Yes.
but BG Saturday Night Fever silver to it. You know, it's got a little bit of everything. You got the little Rory under there.
Go.
Boom.
Yeah. So go
It's
out.
like
and
it's a
support 'em.
wrestling shirt. It's a wrestling shirt you can wear in public, and people won't think it's a wrestling shirt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like I always
what you
tell,
gotta make.
I always tell these guys, listen, go out there, support these guys. So go out there,
Yeah.
support Rory Fox, man. He's a good brother.
And it's only $19.99. I'm not one of these jerks charging $24.99. Now, if you want the soft shirt like this, it is $24.99. But my shirts are affordable, $19.99.
Yeah, you know what sucks is I went out and I ordered the one I always wanted, which is the Always Angry, because I always feel like we have a connection right there.
Yes.
It's like, and they didn't have the soft style. And I was like, listen, just get me the shirt. I don't care.
Yeah.
I was so happy when it came in, man. I showed everybody. I put it on Instagram. You shared it.
Thank you.
So
it's so funny. We do the Always Angry versus the
always ready.
Always Ready. Yeah. And that was the thing. That was one of those things where Matt is a great guy. He paid for TTD to do an Always Angry shirt, and then the other one I don't like, where he's holding the trunks in the air. I don't even think they sold one of that. It's like, dude, I could have gave you ideas instead of you just going and making a shirt. But there's also that rapid delivery one too you can get, thanks to the Major Pod. But the other shirts are all mine. I got Hasbro Rory. This is the Rockin' Rory. And there's a Workout Rory t-shirt. Yeah, I got them all, man.
Yeah, I like the Hasbro one where you're just
Hasbro Rory.
Yeah.
By Extra Cooler. He did that design. Yeah.
Well,
I told him I want my trunks like this, the boots like this, and yeah.
What we usually do, we always make sure we support our guests, and we always make sure we get a t-shirt. So always show the support for you guys. So
that means I'm getting another one.
Yep, that's it is.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for your time today. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you. You guys were great. I had a good time.
Thank you, man. It's been a pleasure, man.
We'll definitely do this again. Definitely do this again.
Oh, hey, make sure I'm not booked on the show, but support those assholes at the Major Pod. April 8th, they have FWF Live with their little action figures. It's a live show. I don't know what they're putting. I don't know what the platform is yet, but be on the lookout for April 8th for the Major Pod. They're having the FWF Live show. It's got Tommy Dreamer, Shane Douglas, and some other guys. And that makes me so mad. It's like, why couldn't you book me? I want to hang with the franchise.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. Cardona keeps taunting me on Twitter, and also that stinking Brian Myers. Oh, you're not booked, you jabroni, and all this stuff. And it's like, guys, sooner or later, you're going to face me on the independents. This isn't going to be a WWE enhancement match. It's going 3 minutes. You're going to find out what Rory Fox is all about. I've been on the indies for 20 years. I've won championships in Texas, Minnesota, Iowa, Ohio. We'll see who's the jabroni. Myers talked a lot of shit and saying I'm a crappy wrestler. It's like, buddy, we're going to find out one of these days. And you already know the Matt Cardona matches. I'm going to beat some respect into him.
Listen, you might just have to show up. What if the fans demand it? Demand Rory Fox be there.
Sorry, I'm not paying for a flight to just impress some fans. They ain't happening.
No, he needs to pay for you to get there. We want Rory Fox booked.
He thinks the major marks don't care about Rory Fox, so we'll see.
We do.
We do.
I'm proof of it.
And we really appreciate
it. Thank you.
Excellent, brother. Thanks,
guys.
All right, that was Rory Fox here on the Cut Pro Wrestling Podcast. And what a great interview.
Dude, that was so much fun, man. Like I said, I honestly didn't want the interview to end, but I knew we were hitting an hour. And again, I hope we could get him down the line so we could finish what I feel that this is like a 2-parter, maybe even 3, because he has a lot to say.
Yeah, definitely. And guys, Em always says it on the show. We both say it on the show. Got to help out these guys. These guys are on the independents, not like WWE or some of these other organizations where they get like 30 cents per shirt. Or help these guys out. Em, what does he have going on right now?
Dudes, we have him. He has autographed trading cards. He has signed 8x10s. He has T-shirts for the autographed trading cards and the signed 8x10s. You can reach him on social media, or you could just email him at the Rory Fox at gmail.com. So the Rory Fox at gmail.com. Just ask him, hey, I'm interested in getting these things. He's a really cool, down to earth dude. He will get back to you, and you're like, you should get some of this stuff, man. Because I know I'm gonna order an autographed 8x10 at least, because I want to have that in the store just to show, hey, listen, this is one of the coolest dudes we talk to.
Yeah, he definitely is a great guy. And speaking of great people, hey, we got some gifts this past week, man. We got some really good gifts. We got some championship belts. You are officially the IWGP champion, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. Let's see the one you got.
Oh, it's all the way on the other side of the room. Hold on.
Well, you know what? I'll show mine off since I'm so much closer.
Well, and not only that, but
you were not prepared, Mr. Randolph.
Well,
Look at this beautiful belt. I was a little more prepared than you. I could be proud of that. Look at this sucker, man.
Well, that is a beautiful championship belt, and
the detail on it. You can see that the rivets, the names, everything pops. Look, the line is popping out. And you got what was it, an AEW one?
I'll grab it right now. Hold on.
I mean, don't leave me on here to talk by myself, Randolph. I mean, the belt is gorgeous.
Look at this.
Oh, my God. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Look at the detail in that belt, man.
And this one even has my name on it.
Holy moly. How come I got Okada then? I'm not Okada, although I would like to be.
Your name is Emerito Okada. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, apparently. But dude, these belts are something else. This is our first sponsor, right?
Yes. Tip Top Belts, which are located. You can find Tip Top Belts on Etsy.com. They do custom made belts, not just the regular wrestling belts that you see all the time on TV, but they can make custom made belts if you're a fantasy football team or anything else like that. Shows the one you care about, the one you love, with a championship belt. And by the way, besides everything great with Rory and Tip Top Belts, let's also thank our producer, Andrew Fumey.
Andrew, thank you so much again. You do an amazing job to make this face bearable to the people and the sound quality good to our listeners. My melodious voice is booming. Thank you very much. I truly appreciate it. And I got the cat here today, so I hope that you can edit that meowing out, because he's right next to me. I have no idea what he wants, but you know how cats are. He's staring at me and meowing.
And by the way, guys, show us some love. Go on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, as well as give us some 5-star reviews if you like what we're doing. You can find us on Twitter at Cut Wrestling BSP, as well as backsportspage.com. Where else, Sam?
And The Cut Pro Wrestling Podcast on Facebook, and The Cut PW Podcast on Instagram.
Awesome. And we have some good stuff coming up over the next couple weeks. Hope you guys stick with us, and I hope you're enjoying the ride as much as we are. Really appreciate it. And this was another good one.
Hey, look. So you see, I'm not lying. The cat is here.
The cat is out of the bag. The cat is definitely out of the bag.
Special guest.
Special guest, the cat.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a blast doing it. So I hope you join us again for the next one.
We'll see you next time here on the Cut Pro Wrestling Podcast.